This is meteorologist Mark Molnar. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern. We're going to take a look at wintry weather. We're going to talk wintry talk here. We're going to take a look at the models, take a look and see if that coastal midweek is going to be anything. Is it anything to worry about? We'll take a look at it. We'll break all the rest of the weather down for you as well through the end of the week, the weekend, and the next week. We'll be on, see if there's any winter storms to watch out for. Let's get right into it. Subscribe, hit the bell button. And question or comment down below. I love to read your questions or comments. Smash the like button if you like the video, gets it more exposure. And there are timestamps down below in the description. If you wish to skip ahead, I will not be offended. Let's get right into it. All right, now we're starting off with the winter storm update. This is a impact scale. I'm past the confidence part, so I'm pretty confident this is going to happen. It's not going to be a major storm. But I do highlight here in the green, most areas of New York, Pennsylvania, and much of New England, and into southern Quebec, we'll be getting about an inch or less out of that in the green. Into the yellow zone, that's where I think impacts will be a little bit more felt, especially interior New England, where we have the chance of getting up to 2 inches in some of those areas, especially the higher elevations. But I don't really think this is a system to be on a 3 or 4 or 5 scale. I put it up to 2 in some of those areas, especially interior just west of the coastal areas, because it is the first snow for many of you of the season. So as we know, people have to get used to driving in this sort of thing. Although temperatures will be marginal for this event. Many areas will be in the mid to high 30s with the snow. So there's not going to be a tremendous amount of accumulation either. That's why we're keeping most of the accumulations in the 1 to 2 inches. Isolated areas could see up to 3 inches, but that's not going to be the norm here. All right, let's take a look at the quick surface maps analysis here. Starting with the GFS, this is starting with early Tuesday here. We have that rain snow line heading east here across the east. Nothing to look forward to after this system moves off the coast. High pressure builds in. You see this Wednesday, we have some snow, light snow developing here. This will be with that nuisance trough here across the eastern Great Lakes. Coastal low starting to take shape here off the North Carolina coast. Let's see what the GFS does. Yep, that's exactly what I thought it was going to do. It's heading out to sea. There will be the potential for maybe some wet snowflakes here mixing in. And so southern New Jersey, parts of Delaware, and Maryland. We'll watch out for that here across the northeast. Binghamton northeastward to Albany, and Concord on northeastward. We'll watch out for light snows, maybe generally an inch or less. That heads off the coast. We do have some snows lingering, light to moderate times here from Boston up to Portland and Bangor, Maine. And let's put that into motion. Coastal, keeping it well enough offshore that the heaviest snow stays offshore. Yeah, that's so typical. That's what we've been seeing all season long so far. And then we have a trough. This is interesting, across the Great Lakes, starting with snow, light snow on the northern edge. This is for basically Thursday night into early Friday morning, so we might see a light wintry mix developing here across upstate New York, north central Pennsylvania, heading on into Albany, Boston, snow, and then Binghamton changing over to sleet pellets or freezing rain potential as well. So this is like early to mid-morning on Friday morning, and then we switch it over to rain as the warm front pushes through, and we get a period of extreme warmth here. And look at that. We even get the chance for some convective type thunderstorms here all the way up into Pennsylvania. So pushing the rain snow line well up into southern Ontario and Quebec. And look at this interesting feature. Sunday, midday Sunday, changing this rain to snow here on the back edge. We'll have to watch this system. Sometimes these have the potential to produce some accumulating snows. And it does go coastal on us here, so look at that. This could be the potential storm we've been waiting for. But, you know, let's take a look at the other models first, because the GFS has always been known to jump to conclusions here. CMC, very similar. We push that system off Tuesday into Wednesday. Lake effect here off Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, maybe a couple more inches here. And then we get light snows breaking out across southern Pennsylvania, parts of northern Virginia, and into southern Ohio as well. Lake effect comes out of the southwest here on this flow. And look at that. Keeping the coastal off the coast, we do get, it's interesting, we do get some accumulating snows here on the CMC parts of New Jersey, southern New England here. So we'll watch out for that. It's not going to be anything blockbuster or major, but it is exciting because it's the first snowflakes of the season for many of you, especially for coastal sections. And then the lake effect really gets cranking behind this storm on early Thursday morning. Look at that. We almost see some of those bands coming off the lake into Friday. We get that next system, not really well pronounced here as it was on the GFS. Let's see what it does with the weekend system. We head into Saturday night to Sunday morning. No, it just kind of washes out. And the short term, let's take a look at the NAM. Look at those lake effect snow streamers on the back edge of that storm heading on to Tuesday. Off Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Wednesday. And there's Wednesday's little area. Low pressure forming off the North Carolina coast here on the NAM 3 kilometer. We do have some interesting snows here from Binghamton to Albany to Syracuse. If this verifies over to Hartford, could see 1 inch or maybe up to 2 inches in some of the higher elevations. That's kind of exciting. And we get some low pressure moving along the coastline here. So look at that. That's interesting. Maybe some moderate snow parts of Long Island, according to the NAM here, up to Boston, and up into parts of Maine and New Hampshire as well. So this is an interesting little feature. We'll have to watch this because you're still going to get some accumulating snows in eastern New England, parts of Maine here. So very nice. Let's take a look at the total snowfall accumulation, starting off with the GFS. Starting off here, of course, we're zooming in on the Northeast because it's basically the only show in town at the moment for snowfall. Heading on into Wednesday, there's some lake effect. Tug Hill really getting 3 to 5 inches here up into the Adirondacks. 1 to 3 inches here off Lake Erie as well. Into Friday, there's that feature GFS is really grabbing onto. Anywhere from 2 to 3 additional inches on top. Look at that. And 3 to 5 inches here, according to the GFS for Friday. I don't know if I'm fully buying that scenario, but it is interesting. I'll keep an open mind here. It is snowfall here. And then we head into Monday next week. That is interesting. That's the GFS painting a very interesting picture of 6+ inches here along New England up to Maine. So, wow. 28 to 30 inches over here in Nova Scotia. We'll have to watch this. This is kind of interesting. So there you have it. It's not a big blockbuster, especially with the pattern we're going into, but taking a look at the CMC here, let's take a look, put this into motion. Very bullish on snowfall amounts here. I do kind of agree with this. 3 to 5, maybe 6+, up to 8 inches, some of these purple zones. Over towards just east and northeast of Dunkirk, over towards south of Buffalo, and north of Syracuse, up towards northern Oswego County into the Tug Hill, 6 to 8+ inches of lake effect snow. We put this into motion. Take a look at that. That is interesting. Again, generally keeping an inch or less. Yeah, the CMC is not picking up on any coastals here, so you have to take the GFS with a grain of salt that far out, especially that weekend storm. It's just not materializing so far on the other models, and you have to be cautious of that, especially this time of year. And then we take a look at the NAM 3 kilometer. This is going to take us just through the middle of the week. Look at that. Look at that feature just south of Erie, Pennsylvania. Look at that, getting up to 6, 8, 9 inches of snow into Erie and Crawford County. Have to watch Oswego County up to Jefferson and Lewis counties too. We could be looking at, look at that, a connection potentially to these other lakes. So put that into motion. And then into Wednesday, look at that. The NAM's putting 4 to 6, 7 inches of snow in eastern Rhode Island. And it's kind of skipping out on Cape Cod here. Maybe staying rain or rain and snow mix, but look at that. That's parts of extreme southern Massachusetts. Maybe we'll take a look. And I wanted to briefly show you this because the NAO Index is a really good indication, of course, as many of you know, how bad the winter, the chance of snowstorms, especially along the East Coast. And it is going positive. This is not what you want to see for major East Coast snowstorms, so I just wanted to throw that out there. It's definitely looks like it's going positive at this point. It's right around neutral right now, but it is swinging positive. All right, let's take a look at our pattern here across North America. We're going to start off with the beginning of the week. There's that trough kicking in behind that East Coast cold front that's moving off the coast. Ridging, of course, you always get out ahead of it. Ridging on the Pacific as well here. Let's see how this plays out. Wednesday into Thursday, Little troughiness, but there's that ridge I was talking about, that long advertised ridge. And it really takes hold across eastern North America. Look at that. Look at all that orangish and even almost close to red there. That's not what you want to see for East Coast snowstorms. This is Saturday, December 11th. So this gives you an idea. We're going to be stuck in the midst of a lot of ridginess here in the eastern part of North America. We do get a tiny trough, but look at it. Just weakens to a cutoff low, cutoff trough. And look at that. Yeah. Yeah. That's not what you want to see for snowstorms back east. And that's all the way through December 19th, December 20th, December 21st. Troughiness out west, keeping it very... Look at that. Big ridge out here in the Gulf of Alaska. So let's see if the CMC shows a similar picture. We're starting off with the beginning of the week. There's the ridge developing across the east. Trough into... Oh, look at that. There's the... NAO pretty much going positive at this point. That's quite a reflection. This is a cutoff low here, but nothing exciting because look at all this ridginess. Definitely keeping those temperatures above that. Wow, look at that. Yeah, you're not going to get any sort of snowstorms out of this kind of scenario. And daytime highs are going to be at least 10 to 15 degrees above average. This just is not happening. So let's take a look at King Euro. Yeah, let's see. Is the pattern the same? Yep, ridge starts developing December 14th. And we kick this into the end of next week, Thursday. It goes out to Thursday, December 16th. Look at the ridging across the northeast. It's pretty much the whole 2/3 of the country. You have a cutoff low. Pretty much in agreement. And look at that. Low heights up here signifying a positive NAO index. This always develops the ridge across the eastern North American continent. And here we go. Liquid equivalent on the GFS takes us through about Sunday, December 12th. Let's look here. Yeah, back across the east, we'll be seeing plenty of moisture, but this will be spread out over several days. So anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and then 3/4 up to 1 1/2 inches here across the Ohio and mid-Mississippi River Valley. This will not be frozen, though. This is all in the form of liquid. And it will be falling as liquid as well. Pacific Northwest, that's where we get much stormier throughout the week as a trough develops. And here's a snowfall map. This is my forecast snowfall map here across the Northeast. We will pretty much be looking, this takes us from later Tuesday, so this will include some lake effect off Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. So those are the snow belt areas. Erie, Crawford County, Chautauqua, Allegheny, Cattaraugus counties could see anywhere from 3 to 5 additional inches. Into Oswego, Lewis, and Jefferson County up there in northern New York off the east end of Lake Ontario. But the story we'll be talking about is the synoptic snow here downstate New York. Much of the Catskills, Poconos getting up to 1 inch, maybe up to 2 inches in parts of the Poconos and Catskills. Some of those higher ridge tops. And of course, places like Philadelphia, Baltimore, D.C., up to Atlantic City, New York City, Newark, Hartford, Boston, Providence, could be seeing your first snowflakes of the season. Now, the temperatures will be marginal, so I'm thinking 1 inch or less in most of these areas. You will be closer to the coastal low, but temperatures will keep this a pretty marginal event through the Northeast. Some of the higher elevations of the White Mountains, Green Mountains could see upwards of 2 to 3 inches as well. All right, your upper air pattern. We are going to slowly develop a trough out west. It's going to be slow throughout the week here, but we're eventually going to get there. And then a ridge developing in the central part of the U.S., spreading east towards the weekend and into next week. So that's what we can look forward to. That's eventually going to cut off all chances, especially the weekend into next week, of any East Coast snowstorms. Now, as I said, the GFS has that potential. Sunday, that might be our last narrow window of opportunity there. And here we are for Tuesday across the Northeast. We have that second cold front slicing through the region, ushering in colder air. This will help some lake-enhanced snow showers. And I say lake-enhanced because the next system will be approaching from the Ohio River Valley. There'll be a little bit of a disturbance, but we'll have some lake effect earlier in the day that'll transition to lake enhanced. We will see a couple more inches east of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario as the pattern becomes a little bit more southwesterly and westerly at the time. Temperatures will be holding into the low 30s. Look at that across the North Country, 29 in Burlington, 33 in Binghamton, 32 in State College and Syracuse. And then along the coast, here ahead of the front here, Boston 43, 41 in New York City, the Big Apple, and 46 in Atlantic City. And for your Tuesday across the southeast, we're looking at a stalled frontal boundary along the Gulf Coast. We will have warm air below that, south of that, 72 in Panama City, 81 in Tampa, 85 in Miami with a stray shower or thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon. The more generalized rain will be places like Birmingham, Atlanta, up to Raleigh, where we'll see some moderate rain developing, maybe up to a quarter to a half an inch. And look at that, up in the northern Appalachians into western Virginia and eastern West Virginia, we could have some wet snowflakes mixing in on the ridge tops. And here we go for your Wednesday across the northeast. We have that frontal boundary that was coming in from the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and then eventually across southern Ontario. That moves into upstate New York, and there we go. There's that coastal low, very drawn out open wave area of low pressure. So we're not looking at anything major here. We could see some moderate snow, especially northwest of Boston and Worcester area, northwest of Hartford, Connecticut. And maybe the southern Poconos and Catskills could pick up a couple inches out of this, but we're not looking at anything major here. In the darker blues up there, northwest of Boston, towards Portland and south of Bangor, Maine, we could pick up like 2 to 4, 3 to 5 inches of snow. So watch out for that. We could have the potential for some accumulating snow, but by any stretch of the imagination, this isn't going to be the major storm we were hoping for. And in the lighter blue, we'll generally see an inch or less with scattered snow showers, light snow breaking out from time to time. And for your Wednesday across the southeast, now we have two fronts piling up here. Stalled out frontal boundaries just washing out. 20 to 40% chance of showers in any of those light green locations, especially south of Atlanta and Birmingham. We will be warming up just slightly, though, a couple degrees in most locations. And there's that frontal boundary up through Virginia as well. We're getting a little bit of a rain and snow mix up north of Norfolk there, where it's getting down into the low 40s and even some upper 30s in some of those locations, but no accumulation is expected. And here across the Gulf Coast states, we will remain warm in the 70s and 80s in South Florida with a stray shower or thunderstorm. And here we go for Thursday across the northeast. That frontal boundary remains stalled across the Lake Ontario region of New York State into Ontario. And we have temperatures slowly on the rise here, getting up to 36 in Binghamton, 42 in Erie, 43 in Pittsburgh, and 41 in Harrisburg. So we're holding on to low 30s in places like Concord, Albany, and up to the mid-30s into Boston. So we'll have some clearing taking place here finally. Maybe a stray snow shower or rain and snow mix later, especially after sunset, Lake Erie region. And Thursday across the southeast, we continue the theme of systems being pretty well stalled out here. A stalled front continues across Texas as well as the Gulf Coast states, and we will have some overrunning moisture to the north here, some showers and thunderstorms developing around New Orleans up to Nashville. Don't think any of these will be that severe, however, so we'll probably get upwards of a quarter to a half an inch, and most areas outside this main band will be anywhere from a quarter inch or less, so we'll be on the rise with temperatures, 60 in Atlanta, 65 in Birmingham, 61 in Nashville, and still holding on to cooler air up towards Norfolk, Virginia, holding into the upper 40s. The warm spot continues to be Miami, Florida at 84. And here we go for your Friday across the northeast. Another warm front pushing to the north here. This is going to get things as we get on backside of high pressure moving out east of Boston and Cape Cod here. We get a return flow out of the southwest. We're getting up to 56 in Pittsburgh, 51 in Erie, 45 in Binghamton, and 48 in Harrisburg. So we're really warming things up here, and a chance of some late day showers here in western New York, western Pennsylvania. Generally a tenth of an inch or less. So there won't be anything heavy. And then in the North Country, we have a chance of wet snowflakes mixing in with some of those rain showers east of Lake Ontario in the Tug Hill region and the northern Adirondacks and northern White Mountains as well. And taking a look at your TGIF Friday for the southeast, we have the front coming back through as a warm front, and that is pushing some very unseasonably warm temperatures here. Most areas along the Gulf Coast getting 80 or higher, except Panama City, 78. That's still well above your average. 67 in Atlanta, 86 in Miami and Houston. This is getting downright warm for this time of year. And even up the 60s up to Norfolk and Raleigh. We will have showers and thunderstorms developing in Birmingham, Atlanta, as well as Nashville. So we will have half to 3/4 of an inch in rain in these areas, and we'll have to look for the possibilities. It's too early to get into details, but we may have some sort of severe weather. As this saying, especially this time of year in the southeast, it's always everywhere, but never trust a warm front. So we'll watch and see if there's any prospect of severe weather developing, isolated severe developing along this warm front. And here it is, extended outlook for my hometown viewers. Binghamton to Scranton's upper Susquehanna region of upstate New York into northeast Pennsylvania and all points in between the upper Susquehanna River Basin. Take a look at Tuesday through Saturday here. Originally, we were going to look at the potential for a storm midweek. Now, we still could see some snow showers or light snow out of this come Wednesday, but I think accumulations will be generally an inch or less out of this. This is definitely more of an open wave system, not looking at a major nor'easter of any stretch of the imagination. So we could see some dusting of accumulation out of it, but nothing major. That pulls away for Thursday. Into Friday, we clear things out a bit, increasing clouds later in the day on Friday. We're getting up towards 45, so a couple days in the 30s, and then by Saturday, look at that, 56, with a chance of rain developing late in the day, well above average as we head into that new weather pattern. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern. I am trying to get my winter weather outlook for the entire winter season out the door, so look for that very shortly. Like me on Facebook, Media Mark, also Weather Northeastern. Also for hurricane season, Hurricane Northeastern, so go ahead and like that page in advance, although there won't be any updates on that for quite a while. And then don't forget, I am on Twitter. It's just Weather Eastern now, at Weather Eastern. And MediaMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com.